Title: Victor's Light That Dimmed. Victor Lambo was the kind of young man every parent prayed for. Born in a modest township, he was a natural scholar, curious, respectful, and sharp as a blade. His teachers called him the future professor, and even the elders in his community would stop and bless him when he passed. He never disappointed them. Victor soared through school, graduated top of his class, and earned a scholarship to study abroad. Years later, he returned home as Dr. Victor Lambo, a man with a doctorate in biomedical engineering and a heart full of dreams for his people. But what the world didn't see was the shadow lurking in the corner of success: jealousy. Some of the friends he'd grown up with, the ones he used to share meals with and laugh around fires, saw Victor's achievements as a mirror reflecting their failures. Instead of celebrating him, they brewed resentment. They masked their envy with smiles, inviting him to parties and catch-up nights. They started lacing his drinks, slowly feeding him the venom of drugs disguised as fun. Victor, unsuspecting, laughed with them. But the substances started changing him. His mind, once clear and fast, began clouding. He'd get confused, forget things, or fall into fits of depression. His speech slurred, his glowing eyes dulled. He stopped showing up for lectures and meetings, spiraling into a state of despair. By the time his family realized, Victor was deep in the pit of addiction. He was taken to a rehabilitation center run by a patient and kind man named Mthandaza, a former police officer in fight against drugs had turned his pain of seeing youth ruining their lives into purpose. Mthandaza tried everything: therapy, music, spiritual healing, nature walks, and one-on-one talks late into the night. For a moment, it seemed like Victor would recover. He even smiled again, wrote poetry, and talked about giving lectures to the youth. But the hold of the drugs was too deep. One stormy night, Victor disappeared. He left behind only a note: "I am not the Victor you once knew. I can no longer bear the war in my soul. Forgive me." He was last seen walking into the wilderness near the mountains. Some said he wanted peace. Others said he went to die alone. His community mourned. His family never stopped lighting candles for him. Mthandazo built a garden at the rehab in his name, calling it Victor's Promise, a place for lost lights to find their glow again. As for the friends who had lured him to his downfall, they, too, fell victim to the same poison. One overdosed, another ended up in prison. The rest became hollow men, wandering without a future. Victor's story lives on as a painful lesson. Jealousy steals, not just from its target, but from everyone it touches. And a bright fire, once dimmed, leaves the whole village colder. Conclusion: the silent wounds of addiction. Real stories, real pain. The story of Victor is not just a fictional tale, it echoes the realities faced by thousands of young people across Africa and the world. Behind every addict is a soul once full of promise, and behind them, a family and a community bearing the silent wounds of their fall. Cypher, a once celebrated football star in his high school, was scouted for national trials, but curiosity led him to experiment with crystal meth. Today, he wanders the taxi ranks, barefoot, talking to himself. His mother, once proud and hopeful, now prays every night for a miracle, while his younger siblings dropped out of school to sell vegetables to survive. Lorato, a university student with a bursary in accounting, fell into a trap of peer pressure. Partying turned into dependency, and her grades slipped. She was eventually expelled. Her father, a retired mine worker, had to sell their family cow to try and pay for a rehab that didn't help. She now lives on the streets of Hillbrow, her family unable to find or reach her. Thabang, a gifted poet, was introduced to glue and coding in primary school. By the time he turned 19, he had lost all interest in life. He once wrote, "The high is not worth the fall." But no one told me how deep the hole was. He died of an overdose behind a closed-down supermarket. These aren't just individual losses, they are fractures in the foundation of our society. Addiction steals futures, breaks families, burdens healthcare systems, and fuels crime. Mothers cry silently. Fathers grow distant. Siblings learn to fear rather than love. Communities begin to lose hope. Yet, where there is pain, there is also a chance for healing. The work of people like Mthandazo reminds us that recovery is possible, but we must act early through education, support, love, and accountability. Let these stories stir us not to pity, but to action.